After 3 long years of waiting, Squid Game Season 2 has finally dropped, introducing all new characters, new children's games, and most importantly of all, continuing Song Gi-hun's character arc. When we last saw Gi-hun, he had just won a boatload of cash and resolved to take down the games, even if it meant potentially losing his life or his relationship with his daughter. Now, I know I'm not the only one who saw this red-headed multi-millionaire walk away from a plane headed to America and thought, bro, what are you doing? Why would you walk away from a life as a rich man in America, living in luxury with your daughter, to go and face the planners of the Squid Games? They outnumber you, they're better organized than you, and they're strapped up like the Army and Navy in there. You're not gonna win. The Pink Guards are such notorious shooters that they have a whole Call of Duty collaboration. Madness. But to my surprise, Song Gi-hun actually had a pretty decent plan to infiltrate the games and shut them all down. His plan started off by tracking down the guy who started it all, the recruiter. Using his newfound wealth and mob connections from the first season, he hires a bunch of guys to patrol the subway stations in Seoul, looking for him. Once they finally catch him playing Duckji in the subway with a fresh new victim, they notify Gi-hun and he rushes over there in his car. This causes him to cross paths with a particularly handsome traffic enforcement officer, who you'll remember from season 1. After getting shot and waking up from a coma, Wee Ha-jun is demoted from his position as detective since nobody believes his crazy stories about death games on an island. However, he's still determined to reunite with his brother, so he tracks down Gi-hun using his police database access. After a moment of confusion and misunderstanding, they both realize that they share the same goal and start devising a plan. Gi-hun shows them his collection of pistols, rifles, and ammo. Then he gets a tracking device installed in his tooth with the help of a dentist. And crucially, they enlist the help of hired mercenaries, many of whom are former military, including Marines and Special Forces. This plot point makes perfect sense since South Korean males are required by law to serve around 18 to 21 months of their lives in the military. Due to the everlasting threat posed by the North Koreans, it's very plausible that they would find many people with prior military experience looking for high-paying work. So they gather up these hired guns and load them onto a boat. The boat is owned by this man, a local fisherman that fished our favorite detective protagonist out of the water after he was shot. The idea was to locate the island using the tracking device in Gi-hun's tooth and shut the games down by assaulting the island, killing or imprisoning pink soldiers, and liberating the players. And spoiler alert, it doesn't work out. They never find the island, and Gi-hun has to resort to plan B, attacking the guards by surprise, taking their guns, and shooting their way up to the control room, kind of like an armed revolution. This mini revolution was super exciting to watch, and I was rooting for them the whole time, but in real life, the good guys rarely ever win. You could make the argument that they would have been successful if this guy wasn't such a coward and brought them the ammo that they needed. But ultimately, they were doomed to failure because Gi-hun was too dumb to realize that this man, player 1 for Christ's sake, was the front man, and he betrays them in a really heartbreaking way. And yeah, those are most of the major plot points. Now let's get into what I really liked about this season. I love the fact that they gave the recruiter more screen time to really flesh out his character, like in this scene at the park. He walks around giving random homeless people a choice between some bread or a lottery ticket, in some sort of social experiment about greed and bad choices. Predictably, they all choose a lottery ticket, and he doesn't even let them keep the coin afterwards. What an a-hole. I'm not sure exactly what he was trying to say in this experiment, but I thought it was funny that this is what he gets up to in his spare time. It's got nothing to do with his job or what he does for the Squid Games. He just chooses to do this instead of hanging out with friends or family or whatever else he could be doing. Just look at the way he stomps those buns. This man is completely unhinged. He's a menace. Get him off the streets immediately. Throw him under the jail. We also find out that he used to be a guard in the games and shot his own father just because he lost the game. Well, I guess he had to, otherwise he would have been shot. But still, that's crazy. Next up, we got player 230, aka Thanos. He's the wild card of the season and morally a terrible person, but you gotta admit he's entertaining. Always doing some weird shit like skipping up to the button and pressing it with his mouth. He's a psychopath that genuinely enjoys being there. My favorite part is when he just casually yeets this player off screen. I also really like when he randomly decides to speak English in his thick Korean accent.
I'm watching you. I don't know what the fuck are you talking about. You will come back, my friends. Skirt.
Also, the guards let him keep his cross necklace full of drugs, probably because they thought the games would be more entertaining that way. He's in there rolling off the Percocet, geeking off them jiggas if you will. He's not even listening to music in this scene, he's just vibing. But in all seriousness, don't do drugs, kids. They ruin lives, and it's not worth it. Side note, the actor who plays this character spent 10 months in jail after getting caught with marijuana, and was blacklisted from ever working in Korean movies or TV shows. Honestly, he should move to the US. Weed isn't quite as normalized as alcohol or nicotine, but at least over here, being known for smoking weed earns you cool points instead of public shame. To wrap things up, here's what I didn't like about this season. Hwang Jun-ho, the detective, could have told Ji-hun that the front man was his brother. Could have just shown him a picture of what he looks like, but no, he kept it to himself, and it ruined everything. I also didn't like how the VIPs were completely absent from this season. It's not that I like the VIPs for their characters, I just thought that the writer of Squid Game was really cooking when he made the masterminds and main villains of the story be old rich white guys. The Squid Games are a metaphor for global capitalism, and the VIPs really nail that point home. But oh well, hopefully the VIPs come back in season 3. And man, am I excited for season 3. Did you hear that Leo DiCaprio is gonna be in it? Probably as a VIP, who knows? Well, that's all I've got. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment any suggestions you have for future movie or TV show reviews.